Listen, enlighten us. Because there's obviously Forest and Everton are facing new charges. The obvious question is, a lot of people are saying, well, wait a minute, they're facing new charges. Manchester City, I beg your pardon, have not faced any of their 115 charges. What's going on?
Yeah, well, I think you've summed it up quite well already. Obviously, in the case of Everton, it was just the one charge that was subject to appeal. So, therefore, not the level of paperwork anywhere near the level of paperwork that's involved in the Manchester City case with all those charges, 115 of them. There are literally thousands of documents that are being sifted through. That's why it's taking so long. But of course, the Premier League are aware of that. They're aware of the criticism that's come their way because it is taking too long, I think, in a lot of people's eyes with regards to Manchester City. City themselves wanted it resolved as soon as possible so they could start to draw a line under it. That's why the Premier League have brought in these new profitability and sustainability rules. And the idea is that if you're found guilty or you're found in breach of those rules in a season, then your punishment should be dished out in the same season. That's what
Yeah.
obviously happened to Everton with a 10-point deduction that's subject to appeal. And that is what will happen to Everton and Nottingham Forest if they are found guilty by this independent panel.
What would beg the question then? What would happen if City get found guilty of something in 2004?
Well, it's a brilliant question. Obviously, the most extreme situation with regards to Man City, because there are so many charges, would be relegation potentially from the Premier League. But I think that case is still a long way from coming to fruition. I think we're looking at probably next year before we get any kind of resolution when it comes to that. And obviously, the charges against City are so historic, in fact, that if it was a UEFA charge under their FFP rules, they wouldn't be punished
Yeah.
because UEFA have a cut-off point, which we don't have in the Premier League.
Crookie, what about the transfer window at this moment in time has been, is it fair for me to say, unbelievably quiet?
Very. And actually, I was speaking to agents yesterday, football clubs yesterday, anything doing, and the message was the same. We've never known a window this quiet. Jeff pointed out yesterday morning on this programme, there's only been one paid-for signing in the Premier League so far. That's Radu Dragusin, who came from Genoa to Spurs for around about £26 million. Apart from that, it's just loan deals. Now, I think that will continue. There's a multitude of reasons, but I think certainly that the financial regulations are one of them. I've been told that the majority of the clubs in the Premier League, even the likes of Manchester United, are so worried about stepping over that profit and sustainability line that they're just not going to do much business. So, yeah, I think it could well be a quiet window right the way now until February the 1st.
There's been a couple of rumours just recently, Crookie, about Roberto Firmino and about Karim Benzema potentially may be coming back this window. What do you think about that?
I think Firmino is more likely. I think his club, Al Ahly, are willing to allow him to leave on loan. Karim Benzema is on huge money over in Saudi Arabia. So again, with all the financial restrictions that are in place now, I'm just not sure that that's sustainable for any club. I think Chelsea probably are the team most in need of a number 9, but Bobby Firmino's a good player. Is he going to come in and score 15 goals between now and the end of the season? I'm not entirely convinced by that. Benzema's also been mentioned in dispatches with regards to Manchester United. That was strongly denied by a top source at Old Trafford yesterday. Manchester United not in the market for Karim Benzema. I don't think that's the type of Hollywood signing we're going to see now under Sir Jim Ratcliffe.
What, I'll just throw another name at you, Crookie, if I may. A story that really intrigues me. Jesse Lingard, anywhere?
What's happened to Jesse?
Probably the MLS.
I know, mate.
What's gone on there with Jesse Lingard?
What's going on, Crookie?
Well, he lost his way. He made a bad decision. I was on air the day that he joined Nottingham Forest when he had the opportunity to go back to West Ham and play for David Moyes. And I came out then and said, this is the wrong move. You know, he's proved at West Ham that he's a good fit. He obviously has a good relationship with the manager. If he wants to seriously relaunch his career and he's not just going to make a decision based on money, West Ham is the move. And sadly, I was proved right. He went to Nottingham Forest, barely came out of the goal or an assist, hasn't had a football club since the end of last season, has been touting himself around to play for free with the likes of Barcelona. They've not nibbled. There was a mention of Everton briefly, but that seems to have gone quiet. Now he's party company with his agent and he's trying to get himself a move. And I think the MLS probably is most likely. Portland Timbers have been mentioned. But it's really sad, isn't it? When you look at him and Dele Alli, and we know that Dele Alli has spoken about his off-pitch demons. But when England got to the World Cup semi-final, when they lost to Croatia, Dele Alli and Jesse Lingard were two of the best players in the
Correct.
team, and the fall from grace has been quite dramatic.
Yeah.
Incredible. All right, Crookie, listen, mate, thanks for your
Thank
time
you,
this morning.
Crookie.
You have a good day. Back to the PSL Saga now. Let's going to get a Forest of you. I was now joined by a talkSPORT reporter and Forest season ticket holder, Max Scott. Max, very good morning.
Morning, Max.
Morning,
thanks
boys.
for joining us, mate. I appreciate you taking the time to come in and see us. How's it been received by the Forest fans at this moment in time?
Look, I think there's a huge mixture of obviously anger at the Premier League, frustration, somewhat at the owners and their scattergun sort of transfer strategy. But mainly, this is just a kick in the teeth. That's what it feels like. You got to remember, only a couple of years ago, Forest were at the bottom of the Championship. Steve Cooper comes in, gets them promoted largely, and this is the key thing. This is the key detail for Forest fans, with a group of lone players. Mm-hmm. James Garner, who's now doing really well at Everton, Jed Spence, whose his career seems to have bombed a little bit, but was instrumental amongst some other players. So when we got promoted, our incredibly wealthy owner has said, right, we need to chuck some money at this. We need to give this a go. We don't want to be a Norwich, a Fulham at times, a West Brom, yo-yoing up and down from the Championship. I've got the money. I'm going to put my money where my mouth is. I'm going to make some signings. Now, we know, Forest fans know, the signings like Jesse Lingard, John Joe Shelvey, Omar Richards from Bayern Munich, who arrived with a broken leg and hasn't played a game. We know that if those signings weren't made, maybe we wouldn't have fallen foul of these fair play rules. And so it's massively frustrating, I think.
Well, it's got to be frustrating, particularly you would think. Why would the owners make these signings when they know the rules?
Well, again, this is why lots of people are frustrated with the owners, but also frustrated with the Premier League, because what it looks like, and we've heard this from Crookie, that the Forest may not have fallen foul of the rules if they'd have sold Brennan Johnson earlier.
Yeah. I read that yesterday. About just a couple of months late when he went in September. Had he have gone start of June, then it would have been different.
But exactly. So if we'd have sold him for 30 million quid, then we might not have broken the rules. And so there's reason to be frustrated at the owners, and lots of Forest fans are. However, we held out, sold our the best asset that the club's ever grown in, Brennan Johnson, for 47 million quid to Tottenham.
Yeah.
Well, if you're the owner of a club, you're thinking, well, we're being punished therefore, and this is what fans feel, a lot of fans, we're being punished for making a good business decision. And while that decision was made 2 months after the window had closed, and the owners know the rules, but, well, what do you want us to do? Take 30 million quid and sell him to Brentford, who are currently a relegation rival, or to hold out and sell him to Tottenham? And so this is why this language that Everton have said, there's the rules aren't fit for purpose. A lot of Forest fans feel that as well, because we don't want to be a yo-yo club. We want to be a club that can resurrect that history of being two-time European champions. You boys know, and it's a delight for us to be back. And we managed to stay up miraculously last season, and we think that we can do it again this season. But obviously, a points deduction would massively hinder those chances, right?
talkSPORT Breakfast, waking you up Monday to Friday morning from 6 a.m. on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.